The new Titleist GT2, GT3, and GT4 drivers have just been released, which means that I can finally share the secret that I've been holding on to for weeks that makes these Titleist drivers different than any other Titleist drivers you've ever hit. Now, if you subscribe to my channel, and I hope that you do, then you know that the Titleist GT Woods, both the drivers and the fairway woods, made their PGA Tour debut right before the US Open this year at the Memorial Championship in Dublin, Ohio. Now, to improve upon and enhance the performance that they were getting with the TSR family of drivers, Titleist really worked on making the aerodynamic shaping of each one of these drivers more efficient. And when you take a look at this driver, in this particular one, this is the GT3, you'll notice that the bottom part, the sole, swoops up more than we have seen in previous drivers, and it actually comes up rather high. Now that created some really good things from an aerodynamic standpoint. However, from a center of gravity standpoint, it created a real challenge for Titleist, because as you bring the back of the golf club up, you're raising and elevating the center of gravity. So to solve that problem, Titleist had to get really clever, and here's the secret. While all Titleist drivers for well over a decade have been made completely out of titanium, including the TSR drivers, the GT drivers actually have a very unique crown construction. Instead of titanium on the top of the golf club, the GT family of drivers has a thermoform polymer insert that basically covers the entire top of the golf club and then wraps around the heel section as well as the toe section, and it greatly reduces the amount of weight that's on the top of the golf club. Now, for years, many manufacturers have been using carbon fiber as the crown material on the top of their golf clubs because it also reduces weight. However, according to Titleist, to make a crown up here out of carbon fiber, you also have to now incorporate a small ledge around the perimeter of the head on the top. And then you're going to have to add in some glue or some type of an adhesive material to make sure that that carbon fiber piece is going to stay. Those elements add weight, again, at the top of the golf club. The Titleist design not only reduces weight on the top of the golf club, but it takes those shelves and actually puts them down on the bottom of the golf club, so that the added weight that's created by the bonding agent and by the shelves themselves is down here, down at the lower portion of the toe and in the heel and in the back. That's an area where many times engineers are trying to add weight because it's going to lower the center of gravity, and that's going to help out with performance. So the new Titleist crown reduces weight on the top, adds weight strategically onto the bottom, and it allows the manufacturers to make this much more aerodynamic shape without elevating the center of gravity. It's a double win for Titleist. Now, instead of being impregnated and held together by a resin material, the Titleist composite material is held together by a polymer. Now, you might ask yourself, what's the big deal about that? Well, polymers come in all different shapes and sizes, and you can tune polymers to do different things, specifically handle sound and acoustics that are created at impact in a much more effective way. Now, you may have noticed that some drivers that have a carbon composite crown sound a little bit muted or a little bit soft when compared with the titanium driver. Well, Titleist wanted to keep the sound of the GT drivers sounding like a titanium driver. So they found a polymer mixture that would create the sound and the pitch at impact that a titanium driver creates. So if you tap the top of this driver, it sounds like metal. It sounds like a titanium driver that Titleist has had in its lineup for years and years. That is all by design. And Titleist is trying to use different multi-material constructions to reduce weight, allow it to make a more aerodynamic package, but at the same time, sound and feel like the titanium drivers that players have liked for years. Now, the three Titleist drivers in the GT family maintain the same relationship that the 2, 3, and 4 drivers had in the TSR family. The Titleist GT2 is going to be the largest from front to back. This is going to be your high MOI, high stability bomber type driver. If you're a player that really wants to hit long, straight drives, if you're just looking for the straightest, most forgiving driver in the Titleist lineup, the GT2 is probably going to be the one that you're looking for. The GT3 is going to give you left-right adjustability along with a little bit lower ball flight and slightly less spin than the GT2, because, as you'll notice, there is a 5-position movable weight that has now been pressed forward in the sole of this driver. You can move that weight in any of the 5 different places. By having it in the middle, you keep a neutral bias. However, you can move it towards the toe or the heel to also shift the center of gravity to create something of a draw or a fade bias within this driver. You also now have the GT4 driver. This has 2 movable weights, swappable weights, one in a 4 position, one in the back position. It's also a physically smaller head. GT4 is 430 cc's, while GT2 and GT3, they're each going to be at the maximum, 460 cc's. The GT4 has a much taller face and is designed to be a lower spinning option for really fast swinging, high spin players. It's going to be one of those sort of niche products that I think either people are either going to love the GT4 or it's definitely going to not be something for them, and they'll know it after just a couple of swings. The GT2, 3, and 4 also come standard with Titleist 16-position sure-fit hosel mechanism, and that allows players and fitters to independently change both the loft as well as the lie angle of the golf club to help to get a better fit. So I had an opportunity to go through a Titleist driver fitting a couple of weeks ago, and what I learned was that for me, the GT3 is probably going to be the best option between these three drivers. I was creating a little bit of excessive spin with the GT2. The GT4 for me just didn't spin as much as I needed it to, even when we sort of flipped around the weights and tried to come up with a weight combination that would work best for me. The GT3 was just the clear and obvious winner. I was really impressed with the amount of ball speed that I was able to create. I was also noticing that the club felt very fast and slick through the air. I don't know how much more club head speed I would have been generating on the same day when compared with the TSR drivers. That is a video that I'm thinking about putting together, a TSR 3 versus a GT3. But I can tell you that solid contact with this felt great. It sounded fantastic, and I have not hit the ball off the tee as far as I was hitting it with GT3 in a long, long time. It's been a long time since yours truly was putting it out consistently around 280, 290, and even sniffing 300 yards off the tee. I don't generally do that, but I was creating with the GT3 about 108 miles an hour of club head speed. That is significantly faster than I generally swing it. So there may be something to the more aerodynamic shaping with GT3 that matched up especially well with my swing. From a looks perspective, I think all three of these drivers are going to be really appealing to people who have always liked Titleist drivers. If you're looking for a lot of flair, if you're looking for something that's new and really hot and trendy, Titleist drivers are not going to be that. This is a classic look in the address position. You get this very glossy, classic black. There is a GT insignia right up on the top that helps you to put the ball in the ideal hitting position. But this is classic Titleist when you look down at the golf ball. Philosophically, I also really like what Titleist has done by making three distinctive drivers to cover and hopefully find the proper fit for many, many different players. If you're looking for the point and shoot bomber, you just want to hit long and straight. You're not worried about shaping shots, just long and straight. GT2 all day. If you're somebody who was working on shot shaping from a left-right perspective, GT3. If you're somebody who creates a lot of spin and you need up and down adjustability, okay, with launch angle and with spin rate adjustability there, GT4 is going to be an option for you as well. So really, these three drivers from a fitting standpoint address a lot of different players out there. If there is going to be a downside to the Titleist GT driver family, it is going to be the price. $649 for the GT drivers when it comes with the stock shafts and grip options that are out there. And that is a lot for people to bite off. If you were somebody who was really happy with the performance you're getting with the TSR drivers and you were well fit into that, maybe even into a TSI, you're going to want to go and do some head-to-head testing before you plunk down $649 on some new drivers. It is worth noting that Titleist runs on 2-year product cycles. So if you do make an investment into a GT driver, I would be shocked if we see new Titleist drivers coming out in 2025. Summer of 2026, yes, I would expect that we would see the successor, but Titleist runs almost all of its products on 2-year product cycles. And so if that's the case, if you want to make the investment now into a new Titleist driver, you will know at least you're going to have the state-of-the-art stuff in your bag for minimally 2 years, maybe even longer. So listen, if you have any questions about the Titleist GT2, GT3, or GT4 drivers, please drop them in the comment area below. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you have. I do try and monitor the comment area frequently, and as always, it would be fantastic if you would like, comment, subscribe to this video. It helps my channel out a lot. So once again, thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again real soon.